What is up, everyone? Circon here, bringing you guys another video. After the last two videos I did, there are so many questions about premium things because of the trade-in stuff that I figured let's talk about all the premiums at the same time, whilst making one of these amazing tier lists, which is a big meme about 2 months ago. But I figure this would be a perfect video for those who are looking to trade in their premiums to buy other premiums, and just in general, definitely top 3 questions asked in my Twitch chat is X premium tank worth it? Should I buy X premium tank? Yada yada. So this is just gonna be like a live recording, no edited. So there might be some switching between tiers at some point. Basically, we're gonna rate from S, which is the best, to complete garbage, which is the worst. And I'll put a link for this whole thing because it's just a website, tierlists.com. And I might use a little bit of tanks.gg as well to talk about the premium tanks. And we're just going to go over all the tier 8 because that's usually the most important tier, the most expensive tier. And by God, there is a million of these, as you can see. If you go to tanks.gg especially, you can take a look here. There is a couple. So I think this tier list doesn't have all the variants in it, which is completely fine. Like the Patriot doesn't have also the E5 in it. That's why this might be look a little bit more sparse than the Tanks.gg list. But yeah, it has its reasons. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm just going to go left to right, top to bottom. So first off, T34. Where would I rate this? So there's 5 ratings and a garbage. So I'm going to put the T34... Where am I going to put this? I'm going to put this at... for now, I'm going to put it at C level. Okay, T34. The gun still kind of works these days. The hull armor, yeah. And long reload kind of really fucks it over, right? I don't really recommend it, though. So maybe I should put it in F. I'm going to put it in C for now. Alien tank. I think this is actually... an A or a B. I'm gonna put it a B. So it has preferential matchmaking, and if we take a quick look at the armor here, it's actually really dumb. Let's see where there it is. So the reason why is it has no DPM and it has not a lot of speed, but the armor is incredibly troll, as you can see. And lower plate is not a weak spot. And yeah, it's an incredibly awkward tank to fight against. The sides are weak, but like frontally. And keep in mind, this is limited matchmaking. So, I actually think it's a decent tank, but I don't really find it fun to play, nor is it really too much fun to play. It's very troll, though. If you roll around in like 2 or 3 of these in a platoon, and you roll up next to each other, so you hide each other's side armor, it's very troll. I wouldn't call it A tier or an S tier, though, but definitely not C or F. So yeah, middle of the tier. It's good enough. Let's see. Does this can do that? What's this called again? I haven't played this in so long. The little Patinmobile. I think that's like, for me, that's probably a C. Maybe a B. Ooh. I'm putting this at C. I prefer the pilot and stuff like that over this. Oh, but a Pet in Korea, that's what it was. Yeah. Super Pershing. I'm actually gonna put that at B as well. It's very troll. Could actually be A, maybe. But you need a lot of premium ammo. It's just slow, but very troll. And I kind of feel like you see kind of a bit of resurgence in these. You see them a lot more lately. This is the... not a lot of people will have this. This is the Recruiter Friend tank. This is actually really fucking garbage. But not garbage enough to put it at F, I think. And... garbage. Is it a complete garbage tier? I mean, it is a medium with a turret, so no. I'm gonna put this at F, actually. That's how much I don't like it. Okay, T92. Complete B at the moment. I feel like this was an A and is now a B because of the other scouts. Pilot, I rate as an A. I really like the pilots. For some reason, a lot of people in my chat don't, but yeah, I rate it. That's pretty good. The Chrysler, that's a solid B. Obvious annoyance with this one is that you almost have to shoot gold because your regular ammo is below 200 pen on the heavy. And the armor layout is really good, but no limited matchmaking. So tier 10s and tier 9 TDs and stuff with high pen will just shoot through your hull. Easy peasy. So that's a solid mid tier for me. Solid mid tier. Patriot is S tier as far as I'm concerned. Excellent gun, good gun handling, really good base pen. You don't need a lot of. You don't need to lose. You do not need to use the pre-memo a lot. Turret is super reliable. Frontal hull upper is super reliable. Easy to play. Nice reload. Sure, you cannot really like out alpha anything because you have 240 alpha, but your reload is nice. Your DPM is good. Not a lot of flaws. It's also decently fast for a heavy. TS5. That's a complete mid tier for me, personally. I think some people might rate this as an A. In terms of like armor TDs, it might be an A, but I consider it a B because it's just garbage. What is this? Oh, this is the TL1. This is a solid A. This is a solid A. If it didn't have those awkward, it has some really awkward armor panels in the front, which I got pinned through a couple of times. But the TL1 LPC, I actually rate this quite a bit, but for some reason you're gonna get shot through the gun mantlet sometimes, which is super awkward. You can see this in one of my replays from, I think, 2 weeks ago, where I get shot right here, somehow, and it went straight through, so. But overall, really solid, and I really like that it has the 280 alpha, which is nice. The other downside is that the AP is super slow. Let's see, even though this says 914, really doesn't feel that way. And the heat becomes 1200, which is awkward. So with heat, it's extreme. With heat, it's probably S tier, but regular use, probably A tier, right? Type 59, a solid A tier, man. Solid A tier because of limited benchmaking, and yeah, I think it's good now. The WZ, ooh. Oh, I'm gonna rate this actually C tier because I think the 112 is better. It's actually kind of hard to put this in 5 things, and I haven't put anything in garbage yet. T44 free. Oh, that's an F. Oh, that's an F. That's definitely an F. Patton. I actually think Patton by. Ooh, is Patton garbage? Or is Patton an F? Ooh, man, I don't know. Like, I would never recommend buying it, ever. But it's probably better than T4. I'm gonna put it at F tier for now. WZ 120. Oh, that is definitely an A tier status. That is a really good TD. This scout is it's probably C tier actually, but well, it's comparable with the T92, so I'm gonna put it at B right now. The Skoda, I wouldn't call it A tier. Probably just completely average. Lorraine is probably S tier for me. The FCM is probably C tier at this point. CDC, yeah, probably there. Yeah, the Raffioli. I actually don't rate this at all. I think this is a C at best. I know a lot of people seem to like this. I free marked it. And at the beginning of the free mark, I was like, oh yeah, this tank's kind of neat. At the end of it, I hated it. You have 200 base pen, which isn't good enough anymore, and 250 heat pen, which is extremely awkward. You kind of want to like 260, or you want like 240 APCR, in my what I'm seeing here. So I'm rating that as a C. I think that might be a little bit controversial. I think people might rate that a B, some maybe even an A. The Liberté, I feel like this was like A tier, but now it's definitely B. Didn't really keep up with the times that well. It got outdated really quickly. Now the Samoa, that's a solid A, I'd say. Maybe even S tier. That's a really good tank. Might be. I'm gonna keep it at A. Boys. This thing is the CDA. It's also C tier, I think. ELC. I'll put that in the middle, actually. Yep. EBR is S tier, easily. Lev is probably C tier. Yak 88 is Probably F. Pen 38 is F. Canona Pens with the... This is the 105, I think. That's a C tier for me. Scorpion is probably... Is it S or A? Probably A. The Indian Panzer thing is probably C tier. The Bulldog is kind of fallen from grace and it is B. Might be A. When it came out, it was definitely S tier, but nowadays, less so. Maubrecher garbage. Don't you ever buy that. Are you complete middle of the road? The VKK was a bit of a swing and a miss as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to put that at C. The Raumpanzer is a C because it's too slow. The Prius. That's going to be a C tier as well, I think. Yeah. The Chieftain, I never really played, so I probably shouldn't rate that. The Caravan is probably A, to be honest. That's probably an A. A reliable turret, decent upper hull. It's kind of like a discount Patriot in many ways. The Centurion 5-1, I'm going to rate that a B, I think. Simply because the upper hull and the turret is really nice. Yeah, I kind of want to put it at A. Because it is really solid. I'm going to put it at A, actually. Yeah. So, I haven't played this either. I'm not going to rate it. The Turtle, that is as a C for me. I don't rate that highly. Senlek, I actually really like. But it kind of suffers versus other scouts. So I'm going to put that at B. Borghetto is S tier, easily S tier. The SDA, that could be A tier. But it's kind of a difficult one. I'm going to put it at B. Yeah. The 50TP is a B tier. It's nothing crazy. KV5, actually a lot better than people give it points for. I'm actually going to rate that a B. Limited matchmaking. And nowadays it also kind of makes you top tier more often. And yeah, it has low pen and the armor is weird. But it has 300 alpha with a decent reload. You actually have pretty good DPM. I'm going to rate that a B. The good old KV5. IS-6. Oh, I6 is a rough one. I'm gonna put it at C. I'm kind of debating a B actually. I'm gonna rate it a C for now. This is the ISU 130 that's never been released for most people on EU. Only a bunch of moderators got it, I think. The mods 1 is an A, easily. This is the... What is this again? The Ice 5, never played it. Ice 3A. That is... Ice 3A. That is probably... How would I rate that? Do I rate that an A? I'm actually going to rate that a B. I think, yeah. T-44-100 is, as far as I'm concerned, S tier. That's really fucking good. The Defender is S tier. I never played the KV. This is like a weird KV4 thing I never played. The T103 is gonna get a C from me, I think. Yeah, I don't really rate that high. STG. So I would have put this in the bottom, but then I started playing it. And I think it's actually A. More realistically, I think it's a B actually. LT is a definite S tier. The SU, I actually rate a B. It's basically a discount Scorpion. I just think it's worse than the Scorpion. The S-Tank is really fucking boring. And the gameplay is boring. Like, competitively, it's probably a B. I'm gonna put it at a C because that thing is just trash for me. Like, I just think it's just dumb gameplay and everything. So this Centurion doesn't have the hull armor, which I think this goes all the way to a C. The Centurion. This also goes for the this tank you can also get without the Premium Victoria camo if you have Twitch Prime. The Emil is just a B, I think, and the Lanson is the Lanson is probably A tier, yeah. So I haven't played any of these things. So let me just, now that I put them all in their little squares, should I put more in garbage? I actually think the Recruiter Friend tank is probably garbage, but no one's, like, you can't really buy it or anything, so it's kind of a weird one to rate. Let's see. I kind of want to say that this is also pretty F tier, actually, in the CDA. It just doesn't really do anything. I legitimately think the Canodum is probably better than this. And I think I'm actually gonna put this tank at C nowadays. The French Heavy. I don't really rate it that high. You'll see that most scouts are actually in like mid tier. That's mostly because of the LT and the EBR just screwing them over. Would I put any of these at A tier though? The KB5. KB5 might just be C tier. Compared to everything else I put in B, it's probably C tier actually. Okay, so S tanks, definitely all of this. Solid A is the pilot, that thing, TL type. The type, if it didn't have limited matchmaking, obviously it would be like more of a B or something, but with the matchmaking you get, it's just so good. The Skoda would have been A tier, maybe even S tier, if the gun handling, if like the gun was a little bit better. But I think it's fine. And Ice Tree A is a tough one for me, because it is a really dumb tank, right? 1200 in, what, 10 seconds or something? 1200 damage? But armor-wise, it doesn't really hold up too well anymore. Also, we're missing the double barrel tank, I just noticed. And the E75. So I would rate the double barrel S tier and the E75 TS A tier. I just realized they didn't put those in yet. Is there any other premiums we're forgetting? There might be some more of those. But the double barrel is S tier, E75 TS is A tier. And then I think the list is mostly complete. Let me check the tanks to GG, see if there's anything I really missed. Let's see. I don't really think there is much. I think this list was just made before the Christmas tanks. Yeah. So I think this is my list. So if you're looking at this list and you're wondering, should I turn in this into something else that is this, then you should probably screenshot this. And then if you want to go from like a tank that I put in F tier all the way to an S tank tier, then that's probably a good trade, right? I guess I can shortly go over the tanks. So EBR is just OP, right? The wheels are really, really dumb right now. It's way better than the Tech Tree, the two-shot autoloader. HE is good. It's just a really good tank. Branches is really solid, and I also put it at S tier because it's not premium ammo dependent as much, right? It might not have the same power level, but it's just so easy to use. This is such a good beginner tank in my opinion. Lorraine 40T, 4-shot outloader, 300 damage each with a really good high pen on a fast vehicle. It's just awesome. Love it. Progetto, auto reloader, slightly better than the Tech Tree version, and just one of the best tanks in the game, tier for tier. T-54-100, honestly, super good. If you look at the paper stats, you might be like, regular medium. But then you start playing it, and it's actually really freaking good. Defender is just such a... I don't even like it, but I'm going to put it at S tier because that armor layout plus the gun is just so forgiving. It's incredible. And the LT432, much like the EBR, is almost like a tier 9 in terms of stats. Like, honestly, if the LT432 had, like, tier 9 health, it would probably just be a tier 9. Like, it's insanity. I really rate the pilot. It kind of feels like an American T-44-100. You have a bit less armor, but better gun depression and stuff. So it feels really well. The Osprey tank is really good, 280 alpha. The AP is a bit annoying, but the heat is super strong. The type is really good because the limited matchmaking and the tank that you get for it is just good. WZ-120 is really solid gun. You don't have a turret, but even without the turret, it's still really good. The Samoa 5-shot autoloader in almost the same reload as the Lorraine, so your DPM is actually 2500 base or something. Really, really, really good. Scorpion G, highly maneuverable, good alpha, just good gun. APCR secondaries, really nice. The Caravan, kind of like a discount Patriot. Hull down, really good. Turret is good. Upper hull is good. Cannot side scrape though. You have to be careful with that, but otherwise solid tank. Centurion, hull down, pretty beastly. Turret super strong. Upper hull is super strong. And the Tech 3 version should be more like this. Should be also getting this hull, to be honest. The Mod 1, really freaking good, but because it has more armor than the T-44-100 in the hull, it becomes slower. And so what it ends up happening is that the T-44-100 is just more flexible in fighting all the tiers, whilst the Mod 1 will utterly annihilate tier 6 and 7s versus enemies that the T-44-100 will get pinned by, right? So that's the difference. The Mod 1 is better against lower tier. The 44-100 is more flexible against every tier. The Lance and C. So I don't really like this thing too much, but it is just really good. You're kind of like a TD medium hybrid. You have a turret, you have decent alpha. The gun is pretty good. The DPM is high. You can be slapping people for 300 with a medium. It's just overall, it's just a really good tank. Then you have the Alien. Really troll frontal armor. If people don't know what the hell they're doing against you, then you're literally unpennable by tier 7s and 6s pretty much. A lot of tier 8 mediums will struggle to pen you frontally. Downside is very slow and low base pen and low DPM. Super Pershing, I actually am kind of rating this B because it's so incredibly troll. And you see a lot more of them these days. Limited matchmaking as well, and a really good special ammo. So for credit making, no. Crew training, yes. T92, just an overall solid scout tank. It suffers greatly, much like the other scouts we're going to talk about at tier 8, versus the EBR and the LT, because the HE, they will just screw you up. The other real downside of a T92 is that it has ridiculously expensive special ammo for the alpha that you get. Incredibly. I should maybe put this at C because of that, actually. Same with the Chinese Bulldog. Low alpha, HE-able by a lot of these boys. So same problems with the T92. Chrysler, super annoying that you have to load a lot of special ammo because your base pen is trash. Your armor is really good up to a certain point. So once people start getting like 250 pen, they'll just shoot through your hull. And then you can angle all you want, but it's not going to work too well. TS5 is literally just a turtle, but better because this armor actually works on flat ground where the turtle armor works a lot worse. Bulldog, the German version, is the 240 alpha one. Still pretty decent. It has HEP rounds, so high HE pen, so it can kind of fight the other scouts. ELC, even 90, a complete beam tank. The only reason I'm putting this at B is because it can be super fun. Don't count on it to make any credits, but like it's such a sneaky bastard and it feels extremely rewarding to do well in. Yeah, just pretty good. Skoda is just an all-round good premium tank. Nothing really wrong with it, but also not super sick like some of the A and S tanks. But this should be pretty much the guideline for most premium tanks as far as I'm concerned in terms of power level for a premium tank. I think it fits. I think it's actually really well balanced, which makes it less good than others because other tanks are not as balanced or overpowered. The RU Scout, no one really plays this, but it is decent. Again, it suffers from the whole HE thing where the wheels vehicles will fuck you up even the tier 7 and 6, and the LT is just straight up so much better. The 50 TP, just a run-of-the-mill heavy, pretty decent, decent alpha, decent armor. Does pretty well. You have gun depression as well. You don't see them too often because the Polish line is super short, so people don't really want to buy a premium for so little crew. Senlek, pretty much the best, the best British light tank, but it's British light tanks, so they're not very good at Tech Tree. But it's as big as a house. That's something that people don't really realize when you're buying them. And because it's big as a house, again, you're going to suffer from HE. I love the gun it has, though. It has like a 180 alpha gun with like 300 HE, much like or 280 HE. So it's really, really like a fun vehicle to play because of the whole HE mechanics and the standard ammo and everything that it gets. So kind of hard to use because it's so big as well. But yeah, I still rate it as a solid B. STA, solid DPM, solid gun handling, good heat pen, decent AP pen. Just a solid B tank. IS-3A, I mean, crazy clip that doesn't get worse if you fire more. It's an auto reloader without any real downsides. Really strong because of that, and in the right situation, you're either shooting every time like a regular IS-3, or you're gonna be able to unload 2 or 3 shots into the enemies, and that's just incredibly good, right? It is a bit derpy, and the whole armor in 2020, it's not that great. STG, I actually didn't think I would rate it this high until I really started playing it a lot, and then, slapping people for 390 whilst having turret armor. It's basically, for me, it's like this tank, the revolver, but better. 390 alpha. And I just seem to do pretty damn well in it. And I think it's a bit more forgiving than playing the Revolverose, as long as you can keep the 5 degrees of gun depression under control. That's really the only flaw it really has. So, yeah. Also has a fully rotatable turret that the 416 doesn't have. SU-130 PM, a solid gun, but I don't like the chassis too much. It's pretty bulky, and the gun depression is different at different angles, and you don't have a fully rotatable turret, which is also really, really annoying. It's basically a discount Scorpion, but because it's a discount Scorpion, it's still an easy B for me. Emil 3-shot autoloader, pretty decent, but the gun is super wonky, so you're not that accurate. So you need to be kind of up close, but also not show your hull, and some maps is really easy, some maps is really hard. Like on things like El Khalouf, you're gonna do really well. On city maps where you can find cover for your hull while staying close to your enemy, kind of tricky to play in those situations. In other maps where you're climbing up hills and whatnot, it's really easy to play, and it will just slap enemies basically. So pretty good. T-34, good turret armor, decent gun. Pretty bad hull armor. One of the oldest premiums at tier 8, and it kind of shows. Probably needs a buff. Path to Korea, I just didn't really like the gun handling in this. It was far too derpy for me, and I just rate the pilot so much better because the gun handling is so much better. And I think it gets heat, special ammo, which is annoying, where the pilot gets APCR. Then you have the WZ, which I just think the 112 is better, which I don't see in this list, actually. The 112 is like a B rank, I think. Got limited matchmaking, and yeah, the hull is just better on the 112. I would never get the 111, the Juan. F-750T, I mean, should just be classified in the matchmaking as a medium, and it would do a lot better. It is a heavy tank, so therefore you're going to meet a lot of other tier 8 heavies that are just better than you, and are better at being a heavy tank, because you're basically a glorified medium. The revolver... solid gun, as long as you're not meeting enemies that have any resemblance of armor, or if you need to snipe something, because you can't do that. And with 250 heat, also really awkward in city fights. You cannot shoot through things. Spaced armor is a thing. You get the gist of it. The Leuve got buffed, but still is a bit too slow to keep up with the big boys in the higher tiers in this list. But, can be okay, right? Kanoniak Panzer, actually surprisingly fun with the 105. The 88 is absolutely not worth it. The 105 kind of is. It's a really awkward platform. You don't have a turret, but at least you have speed. And with a really good crew, you can get to 445 fuel range, I think. So, yeah, just about C tier. The Indian Panzer, basically. It's not an Indian Panzer, but what's it called again? A Moots. There we go. Also got buffed. It has kind of funky HE now, and then I think it has 250 alpha. It's okay. The VKK is just really awkward. The gun handling is atrocious, but you do get like, I think it's 490 alpha or something like that. Backwards mounted turret, the armor is a bit meh, so and you're on the slow tank, backwards mounted turret becomes a really awkward tank. Round Panzer is just simply too slow and you don't get any real benefits from it. The Prius 230 alpha, a bit low. Armor is not super reliable, can be a bit troll, but overall, meh. Turtle's a weird one. I just literally feel like it's a TS5 but worse. That's why it's a tier lower. DPM is incredible, but getting the DPM to actually get going is really hard. Most maps will not be suited for you. You're going to be super slow. Yeah. On flat ground, the armor also gets worse. So, yeah, you need to climb up a hill a little bit, but you're slow as hell, so you also don't want to do that because it's painful to drive there. So, yeah, you see the issue. IS-6, still incredibly troll as far as I'm concerned, but it just doesn't have the pen to compete with the big boys anymore. If the IS-6 ever got a buff in the pen, it would probably be pretty good again. The T-103, awkward tank all in all, really slow turret reverse. Some armor, so you don't get HE'd like the SU, but overall a super awkward tank to play that doesn't really know what it wants. So gameplay is really awkward in it. S-Tank is just ultra boring. You have a good gun, it makes good credits because you don't need to shoot the premium ammo. But the way it plays, I think, is atrocious. That's why it's at C. Most people would rate this an easy B, some even A. But personally, wouldn't recommend it. The French tank used to be really good, but now everybody kind of knows how to play against it. And a lot of other tanks that it's facing got better pen over time. So your hull armor becomes less good. And kind of boring to play, honest. KV5... I mean, it's a KV5. You can ram things, you have 300 alpha, pretty decent DPM actually, and overall just a pretty meme tank. You have limited matchmaking as well. Against the correct opponents, the KV5 could actually be really freaking good. Again, the problem is at tier 8 you usually get matched against other heavies. That starts at tier 8, right? Where you get mirrored matchups more. And then, yeah, against other heavies, not so good, right? The Centurion, the Tech 3 Centurion basically, but as a premium, just far worse than the Centurion that you can get the 5-1. It's a different Tech 3 though, this is the Swedish one, but I wouldn't really recommend this too much. I might actually put this at F tier. But yeah, and then at F tier we have the T-44 free, it's just garbage, 390 alpha with really low pen. Garbage gun handling, no real armor. The turret is kind of okay, but the rest is shite. Gets set on fire easily. It's just pretty garbage. The 59 pattern, same hull, so you get set on fire a lot. The turret is a gigantic weak spot. Regular 240 alpha gun that doesn't really do anything crazy in terms of accuracy and whatnot, like the, I don't know, T-4100 and Pilot. The CDC, absolutely no armor, and there's a lot more high HE pen in the game these days, so you just suffer way more. You can't really brawl anything, and the speed is actually not that much better than most of the other mediums here. Then we have the Yak Panther 88, slow as hell. The armor is actually better than the Tech Tree nowadays, which is awkward. And your base pen is okay, but your APCR or special ammo is pretty bad in comparison. And yeah, it doesn't really work anymore. Panther 88, just not very good. The gun should just be handling a lot better for the chassis that it's on. It pretends to have a little bit of armor, but it really doesn't. It's big, it doesn't have camo. It's just super meh compared to some of the other ones. And the CDA, 390 alpha on a TD is like whatever, but I feel like you're almost better off getting an S-Tank if you want that type of gameplay, and if you want to assault more and be more up close, the WZ 120 is just so much better. So, and it pretends to have armor, but it also doesn't, and the armor only works if you're shooting up towards it. So if it's on a hill and it's shooting down towards you, then it has some armor, otherwise it really doesn't. It's just, it doesn't know what the hell it wants to be, and therefore it's just extremely awkward. The Crew Defend Tank, garbage, just really bad, and the Mauerbrecher is just super fucking dumb garbage that I would never recommend ever. And then these tanks I never really played or were not available yet. The IC-130 actually got sold on NA not too long ago. I'm not sure if that's the first time or not. But on EU, I think only the 4 moderators got it or something silly like that a couple of years ago. Never been sold in EU as far as I know. So yeah, I'm not gonna read those. And that is my tier list. How long have I been rambling on? 35 minutes. Well, if you sit through this for that long, I applaud you. And yeah, there you go. That's my tier 8 premium tier list. And again, this type of content, a little bit lazy, but I feel like it's good background noise whilst you're doing something else. And like I said, it's actually one of the, like, an easy top 3 question in my Twitch chat every 5 minutes is about premium things. So yeah, I figured it'd be a good video to make. If there's actual demand for something like this, rating other tier lists, maybe we can do rate the tier 5s for all I care. Like, I'm probably one of the few that actually played a lot of tier 5 lately, or a little bit ago now, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Do let me know, guys. I'll make these lists if you like them. If you don't like them, let me know as well. Then I'll just, we'll just stop doing them. It's as easy as that. Don't forget to check out some more videos that I've made. They're on the screen right now. And yeah, have a good one, everyone. Peace out.